welcome to O2 Life. My name is Michelle, and today we're doing an O2 restorative practice. For our practice today, you'll want to set up so you're close to either a wall or have a chair or a couch or something nearby you can elevate your legs onto. And then we'll also be using a bolster at several points in our practice, so I'm guessing most people probably don't have a bolster at home. What you'll want to grab is just a couple of cushions from your couch or pillows from your bedroom, or even grab a big blanket and just roll it up. We'll just use it to provide some support as we move through this practice so we can get super comfy. So my Spotify playlist is linked in the details of this video. Open the link and press play now, and we will all get started here. So for our first pose, we're going to come and just relax in a supported Shavasana. So here, you're going to place your bolster underneath your knees, backs of the legs, and come to lay down comfortably on your mat. Let's just take a big breath in through the nose here and open mouth exhale to let the body settle. You can continue to do that as many times as you need to feel like you're ready to invite a slow, complete breath in and out of your nose. So I like to think about restorative yoga like the melding of several different kinds of yoga practices, right? We're working with our breath, we're working with meditation, and we're also using the body. But instead of trying to control things, I really want you to think of this as a practice of allowing. Right? It's almost like a laying down meditation practice. How much better can you get than that? Right? So we just want to come and relax into the moment and really do our best to stay there and return to there. So return to this moment anytime we notice ourselves leaving. And two really good tools we can use to do that are to focus on the breath and or the body. So let's start by feeling our body. Right, feeling the heels on the floor, the bolster under the knees, your butt and the back of your torso on the ground, the backs of the arms, the backs of the hands, back of the head. Into that support, the rest of your body can relax. And if it doesn't feel relaxed right now, don't worry about it. Right, we may or may not get there. It's not about the goal. It's just about practicing. If it feels comfortable for you, you might start to shift your awareness into your breath now. Instead of forcing the breath to be full or rigidly structuring it, can you begin by simply finding a slow, full inhale and a slow, complete exhale? Just guiding the breath to be a little slower and a little deeper than usual. Never forcing it to any kind of maximum where we might become strenuous. And if you've already noticed that you find focusing on the feelings in your body to be more relaxing than guiding the breath, you're welcome to return to that instead. There's really no wrong way to relax. Each time you notice you've left, just come back in. So can I shift into my body awareness, my breath awareness, or something else that's happening in the moment? Maybe it's the sounds of the music you're playing, if you've chosen to play music. Maybe it's the feeling of the air in your space. Maybe there's a little breeze or something else that's catching your attention. Whatever it is, can you just immerse yourself in now? So in this moment, not before now or after now. As you notice thoughts arise, can you just kind of watch them appear and then dissipate? Right, the same way we handle the breath, not with force, but just allowing. With your next inhale, we'll start to reach the arms up overhead, point the toes, and then exhale, hands come back alongside the hips, flex the toes back toward the shin. So let's take a little movement here, break. Inhale, stretch long, point. Exhale, return the hands and flex the feet. One more time, inhale, stretch long. As you exhale, hug your knees into your chest and give yourself a little squeeze. So you could be still here, or if it feels right, you might start to rock a little bit side to side, or even forward and back, or something else entirely, maybe circling the knees around. From here, you'll just scoot your bolster out of the way. I'm going to push mine down toward the bottom of my mat and stretch your legs long again here. Reach the arms up overhead. And we'll take a little half moon stretch here. So you'll walk your feet over toward the right side of your space. You might even cross your left ankle over your right. And then you're going to do the same thing with your hands. So walk your hands over toward the right side of your space. Should feel a subtle or maybe even a more intense opening in your left side. So instead of trying to force it or make the sensation more intense or the stretch deeper, can you just allow yourself to breathe and relax here? That's kind of where the magic happens. Instead of applying pressure, can you just let it happen? Can you experience a different kind of opening? Breathing from the outside of the left foot all the way into the left fingertips. Where are you noticing that opportunity to expand? Might even be in the side belly or the side rib or somewhere you can really breathe into directly. If so, do it. Always returning back to the body and the breath. We'll take one more big breath here into this side. As you exhale, start to straighten out. So we'll just reach the arms long, the legs long again, come back to neutral for a moment. You might even point or flex the feet. And then we'll take that to the other side. So the feet will come over toward the left side of your space. You might even cross your right ankle over the left. And then we'll walk the hands over as well. So we're in that little bit of a crescent shape. So the body's in the shape, but the breath is where the expansion happens. Each breath in is an opening, and each exhale is a release. Can you just allow that to happen? Not make it more complicated, not try to apply more pressure. Can you take the pressure off? Take the pressure off of meditating perfectly as well. So just accept that as we move through this practice, that many, many times your mind is going to go to places other than now. And the practice isn't really a true clearing or being perfect. The practice is returning to this moment. So noticing when that's happening. Can we choose to come back in? Let's take one more big breath into this side. As you exhale, walk the hands and feet back to neutral, stretch long. And then we'll hug the knees into the chest one more time. So grabbing onto the shins or the knees. You might rock a little bit side to side. Just take time to move slowly and kind of feel what's happening. From here, we'll extend the legs long again, and you're going to flip over onto your belly. So just like a little pancake, we'll flip and come to crocodile pose. So here, your hands are stacked like a little pillow for your forehead. And this is a good place if you're still feeling like you're having a bit of a challenge, finding stillness. Think about taking a few big breaths into your low belly, your low back, and letting the exhale come out of your mouth. Each time you breathe out, maybe you're able to release a little bit more of your weight into the floor underneath you. Right, which might sound kind of silly because obviously the floor underneath you is supporting your body, but are you really letting your body relax into that support? Or do you feel those little parts, those little places where there's almost like this buzzing energy resisting it? Right, like where do you feel overly energized? And can you release that with the breath? The inhale is expansion, the exhale is always release. It's such a nice natural cycle we can follow. And tie to a little bit more than just, right, that exchange of air, of breath. Let your body become so heavy on the floor, it almost feels weightless. Can you release any sense of effort or control? You're welcome to continue to rest right here, or if you feel like you need a little bit of movement, we'll bring the hands under the shoulders and just take a few slow rounds of cobra. So press the feet into the floor. As you inhale, you'll lift up. Just stay nice and low. And as you exhale, release back down, tap the forehead. Just moving at your own pace. Think about your breath really as the leader here. So it's the inhale that lifts you, and the release of breath that lowers. Two or three more times, then we'll come back to crocodile pose. Once you finish your last round, come to rest the forehead on the hands again. Return to your full breath, especially focusing on the low belly and the low back. From here, we'll come to a half frog pose. So you'll bring your arms to a goal post position. Your left knee will drop toward your left elbow and your right cheek toward your mat. If you need a little extra padding, if your surface is hard, you could always place a blanket or a pillow underneath the inside of the knee. And think of keeping that same breathing pattern we've been working with. So really focusing on allowing the inhale to fill the belly. We won't be here too long. So if you're feeling an intense stretch, just allow the body to relax around that sensation, perhaps. Stretch the left leg out long and then switch right knee up toward the right elbow, left cheek toward the mat. Always coming back to the body and the breath. Extend the right leg long. Forehead taps down one more time. And then bringing the hands under the shoulders, we'll push back to a child's pose just briefly. If you feel like you need a little support, you could always put your bolster here between your knees and recline over it. And if that's not enough support, you could use as many pillows or blankets or bolsters as you need to feel like you have that support. Just turn the head to one side for a moment if you're up on a pillow. Still directing our breath into the belly. If you've got your head turned to one side, you can switch for a moment. Coming back to neutral. You're just going to come up to hands and knees for a sec so we can set up for a supported twist. So for this one, you're going to scoot your hip up toward one side of your bolster. Your bolster will come on the parallel with the long edge of your mat. Your knees and ankles can stack or they might splay out. It doesn't really matter, but your hips will be facing forward. And what we'll do is bring one hand onto either side of your bolster and lower your chest toward the floor here. Again, if you need more support, you could add in an extra blanket, an extra pillow, whatever you need. Your head can turn to face toward your knees or away. Just be careful not to bring yourself into too much rotation, right? There's really no benefit and a lot of risk associated with coming out of our normal range of mobility for our spine, so don't push it. Once you're here, we'll start to settle. Your hands can come wherever is comfy for you, so feel free to explore. And remember, there's like no rule here that says no adjusting. So it's really more important that you are comfortable where you are than not fidgeting. Right, it's not fidgeting if you're adjusting yourself so you can actually be comfortable and relax. You deserve that. So if you're overriding your own needs, you notice yourself doing that, that's an interesting pattern to watch, all right, because we don't want to do that. So as you settle into the pose here, can you think about noticing how your breath moves? Noticing how your body feels. Again, is there anything you need to adjust to be really comfortable and relaxed? And if there's anything you feel lingering that is continually drawing you out of the room, can you use this pose as a time to really release that and let it go? This shape facilitates our exhale. You might be able to feel that. The twist, the pressure of gravity, your body pressing into your bolster. And if you find, the idea of letting something go entirely is a little too scary, can you just let it be for now? I didn't say forever, but just give yourself peace, for these last 20 minutes of our practice. Anytime you notice you've left, just come back. No judgment, no frustration. Just noticing that thinking is what our mind is meant to do, so it's going to do it. That's it. It's nothing to get bothered about, You're not bad at meditating. It's completely natural. We're just practicing something a little different, We're creating a new pathway. It takes a lot of time. Take a few more breaths here in this shape. Really notice how your breath moves differently in every position. Right, that imprint on our breath creates a really different energetic experience in each pose. As you feel ready, you can start to bring the hands underneath the shoulders and press up to a seat. And we'll just take that to the other side, so you can swing your knees around the other way. Bring your left hip now up against your bolster. Hands on either side and lower the chest toward the floor. You might find that you take the exact same setup on this side or slightly different. So we're not trying to fix anything today, right? We're just trying to relax. You can save that kind of stuff for like your PT or your Pilates class, right? Like, so really you want to be wherever you're comfortable. Don't worry about being even side to side or doing anything the same. We're just trying to relax. Think about allowing your breath to be slow and complete. Especially allowing your exhale to be complete. So let this pose do the work for you. Can you really allow yourself to be fully supported by the floor, your props? Perhaps at this point in your practice, you're able to notice how our thoughts create a sort of a chain reaction, right? Where our thoughts affect our breath and they also affect held tension in our body. So maybe the next time you notice a thought coming up, instead of trying to push it away, can you allow it to dissipate? And as that happens, maybe notice how some kind of sensation may or may not have come up in your body. Or some kind of change may have come up in the way your breath is moving. And knowing that these things are connected, it now makes sense why a body focus and a breath focus can also help us find a clearer and more calm mind. I'm going to start to slowly press up out of our twist again. Just taking your time, there's no rush at all. And then you can leave your bolster right where it is actually. We're just going to turn around so our low back is up against the bolster and come into a supported back bend. So you'll recline over your bolster. That's kind of step one here. Your arms can come wide, however you're comfortable. And then you have several options with the legs. So if you have blocks or some extra pillows, you might bring your feet together, knees apart, and create a little support underneath there. You could cross your legs or just rest them long. So experiment with those positions. See what feels right for you today. And then same with the arms. The arms can come narrow, wide, or even slightly more overhead if that feels right for you. And if you're able to, maybe start to notice how the pattern of breath in this shape is very different from the last shape we were in, that twist. Right? So instead of inhibiting our inhale and facilitating our exhale, in this pose, the whole front and sides of the body are open, inviting in our most complete breath. Our biggest inhale is allowed here. So instead of focusing on the release or the letting go or the letting be, can you think about receiving something more than just air with your breath? What is it you came to practice today? Or maybe what is it you've realized you are ready to invite in now that you're calm and clear? Instead of just thinking it, can you feel yourself receiving that with your breath? If you like to practice a 3-part breath, you might also find that now. Think about inhaling into the low belly, then the low ribs, then the chest. As you exhale, move in reverse, so top to bottom, chest, ribs, belly. Just going at your own pace, inhaling bottom to top. Exhaling top to bottom. If for any reason this pose starts to feel too energizing for you, just come off your bolster and come to lay on your back. How can I allow my breath to be complete here without forcing it? No better way to not be relaxed than to try to force yourself to relax, right? Just noticing what comes up, and after the thought dissipates, shifting back into the body, the breath, and maybe that intention to receive if something very clear came through for you. If you're still practicing your 3-part breath, you can release that now. Really allow the shoulders to relax open and all of the muscles of your face to relax here for our last little bit in this shape. As you feel ready, we're going to transition up to a seat for just a moment. So you can roll over to one side or slowly sit up. Move your bolster out of the way. And then at this point, we're going to find that wall or chair or whatever it is you have in your space. So I'm just going to use a folding chair here. I'm going to rest my calves up on the chair. If you're doing legs up the wall, you'll just put your legs straight up the wall. I personally like the chair variation. I feel like it gives me a little better release from my low back. And also, if you have some hamstring, I don't even want to say mobility issues. If your hamstrings aren't hypermobile, you're probably more comfortable on the chair, right? So this will be our final resting position here. So let's take a big breath in and open mouth exhale one more time. If you prefer, you could also come to a supported Shavasana instead. If this just isn't quite feeling right as you get settled here. But here we're going to start to release any sense of effort or control over our breath, our body, and even the movement of our mind. So can you just let everything move as it will? Let your body be relaxed. Let your breath just move at its own natural pace and depth. Let your mind move as it may, but don't lose your awareness of all of these parts and pieces, right? So we're not guiding the breath, but we're watching it. We're not focusing our thoughts, but we're watching them. We're not controlling the body, but we're watching it, we're feeling it. And begin to invite your full breath back in. Filling the belly, the ribs, the chest. Before moving at all, think about that breath beginning to awaken the rest of your body. So can you breathe not just into your belly and your lungs, but your toes, your fingers, the crown of your head. And if that sounds kind of abstract, remember that the oxygen from your breath does in fact nourish your whole body. So it's not like a weird yoga thing. It's actually real. Maybe as you make your breath bigger, you feel ready to start to move a little bit. Maybe knees to chest or taking a long stretch overhead. Taking all the time you need, we will slowly make our way up to a comfortable seat. So there's no rush to get there. You can roll over to one side and pause if you like on your way. If you like to sit up on your cushion, just take a couple more minutes to sit here. I like to think of my entire practice as a preparation of just for this moment, right? How does it feel to arrive back in this seat? Placing the hands at heart center or maybe even directly over the heart, right hand then left on top. Just take a few more breaths into inviting in what it is we came here to receive. Maybe it's something specific or just a vague feeling, but there's a reason why we practice, especially these more subtle practices. Let's take one more big breath in together. As you exhale, release the hands, blink the eyes open. Thank you all. That completes our practice.